Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Quarantine Cooking. Tonight we're doing smoky beef and black bean tacos. I'm going to show you how to make your tacos if you don't have tacos on hand. I find tacos quite expensive actually, so I prefer making them the way I do. But I'm going to show you how to do that, and then also I'm going to show you how to make your own nachos. So if you just want to zoom in here quickly just to look at the ingredients. So tonight we've got about 500 grams of beef mince here. We've got a tin of black beans. You're not going to use all of the black beans. There's a little bit of homemade beef stock here, some chutney, garlic, a bit of sugar, and then I've got salt and pepper. There's a bit of tomato paste. Then I'm going to use some red wine, and then I've got these spices that I'm actually going to put in. But I'm going to chat to you a little bit about those spices, and then a bit of kikkoman soy sauce. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this thing fired up. Just add a little bit of oil into that, and we're going to start cooking the mince. And the first thing I want to do is basically just get the mince cooked so that it's nice and cooked through, and then we're going to start adding all of the different ingredients in there. Then we're going to chop up a whole bunch of different things, so if you can focus on here, and this is going to what our tacos are going to be made of. We've got some sour cream, a little bit of cheese, avo, some iceberg lettuce, and coriander. Guys, if you don't have any sour cream at home, I've just made my own sour cream. You can actually use a cream cheese, add a little bit of lemon juice into that. You can even use a cottage cheese and add some lemon juice into that and just mix it up. But yeah, otherwise try and make your own sour cream if you can. There's lots of ways of making it. Okay, so while the mince is going, I'm going to chop up these ingredients. And we're just going to shred the lettuce quite nicely. It doesn't have to be chopped up too small. Just like that. Okay, might go back in there. And then the coriander. Now coriander, I quite enjoy the whole stalk. If you look at these stalks here, I mean that's pretty much how coriander looks. There are some stalks that are a little bit thicker. If they are like that, you just pull them off and you can actually discard those. But otherwise you can actually use the entire stalk. So those sort of things, with those stalks, you just chuck the whole thing in. And also just check your coriander. Coriander tends to go off quite quickly. So yeah, if you find any little black spots in it, then just chuck those out. But otherwise, yeah, just pull out the bigger stalks from your coriander. Okay, that looks pretty decent. There's another big stalk. Okay, and coriander is a fantastic dressing for anything Mexican, and also anything Thai actually. Right. Okay, so while the mince is cooking, you just give this a quick stir. You can actually take a look at it. I'm actually going to break this up. So I've got a fork here and I break up the mince. The reason I do this is you don't want the mince to clump. So when it cooks, it is going to clump. And you don't want that. Otherwise, you want the mince to break up so you can actually get all the flavors going through all the little bits and pieces of the mince. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start preparing my tacos. So these are some tacos I showed you guys earlier. These ones that we've made before. And we're going to make exactly the same tacos, just using these large tortilla wraps. So I'm just going to take the tortilla out. And I've got a nice bowl, which is literally a nice round shape that I can fit almost 3 of these things in here. So let me just show you how to do that. I'm just going to cut this around. There's one. Another one coming. There we go. And the third one might seem a little bit off, but also good enough to use as a taco. Then you've got these little pieces that are left over. And the little pieces actually would make up your nachos. So I'm just going to slice these up a little bit, different shapes and sizes. And I'm going to add them to the ones that I've already done. And if I stick these in the oven, these things will toast nicely and actually make some really cool nachos. Okay, so let's get back to the mince. Okay, so you can see my mince is almost cooked through here. Just breaking up these little things so it's a nice fine mince. And obviously you want to make sure that it's all brown so it does get cooked through. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some garlic into here. So, standard way of doing garlic, we're just going to top the ends off. I'm just going to crush these up. You can just pull the garlic off. Easiest way to clean garlic. Alright. And then we're just going to mince that up. Okay, and then this goes straight into the mince. Then I'm going to add all the other bits and pieces in here. So I'm going to add our chutney. Our chutney is a fantastic flavorant with mince. So that's about 2 tablespoons of chutney. I'm going to add our beef stock in here. It's about 200 grams of beef stock. And then I'm going to add a splash of red wine. And this is just going, and then we're going to let this just reduce. Okay, so that's going to cook until all of that reduces, and it's going to create this nice, really sort of rich beef mince. And then I've got a couple of spices I'm going to add. So the ones that I like working with, there's a Texan steakhouse one, and then also the chipotle chili. Now, I quite like a spicy one, so that's the reason I got the chipotle chili. But you can also use any of these spices. There's a Cajun, Louisiana Cajun, the Caribbean jerk, or a barbecue smokehouse. But I'm going to put these ones in today, and we're going to add this to the dish. We're putting about a tablespoon of that, and I quite like adding quite a bit of chili to mine. Alright, we're going to mix that up, and that's just going to reduce quite nicely. Okay, so I've got my oven on at the moment, and my oven is sitting at about 180 degrees. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a plate, and I'm just going to oil these guys a little bit. The reason I oil them is if you just put them straight into the oven, they're going to go quite dry. Okay, so I'm just going to brush it a little bit with oil, and then I'm actually going to stick it in the microwave. Just for about 30 seconds. That microwave makes it a lot more pliable. Okay, so let's just do that. And then when that comes out, if you just want to look here, we're actually going to put it over a rack. So I've taken a standard oven rack, and we're going to fold it over the oven rack and then stick it in the oven for a bit. Okay, and that's how we're going to actually make our tacos.
Make any other makeshift.
Okay, so you can use any combination of this. So I've just taken 2 little ice cream buckies. That's my grid. And then you want to put something over here so this actually catches any oil that's going to land up on your dish. Okay. So these are done. Now the one thing I must add in there is tomato sauce. So I've got a tomato paste in here. And this tomato paste thickens it up right nicely as well. There you go. Okay, that's starting to look really nice. And you can see there's still some clumps in the mince, so you just try and break those up so it forms this really nice, easy mince. There we go. That's looking good. Right, so I'm going to let that go. Okay, so what we're going to do here, you can see my nachos are, well, let's call them wraps, are quite pliable. So I'm just going to hang them over here. And the oil obviously helps to make it a lot more pliable. There we go. Once I've got that size, I'm going to actually take them off. and then we're just going to fold them a little bit, because you can see here that these guys are going to sort of fold out a little bit if you cook them. Okay, so I'm going to take this, I'm just going to put this on the plate and just fold it a little bit like that, and it can just sit like that so that it actually takes that shape. Each of these like that. Alright. Okay, and that sort of stops it from branching out like that in your standard tuckers. Okay, so that should be good enough. I'll stick that on here. And you can see it now hangs straight down, which is what you want. There you go. And I'll put these in the oven for about 2 minutes, I'd say. And that should be enough to toast them quite nicely. Okay, let's just pop that in. Anyone has any questions, shout. Okay, so this is cooking really nicely. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of sugar in here. Now, whenever you're cooking with tomato, you need to add some sort of sweetness in it. So I'll just put about a tablespoon of sugar in there. The chutney is going to give it a certain amount of sweetness, but not enough to actually stop the acidity in here. So this is starting to come together quite nice. You can see it's thickening up really well. I'm just going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. And I'm going to add a dash of soy sauce. And that soy sauce just gives it that really nice sort of umami flavor. So there's probably about a tablespoon of soy sauce there. Okay. And you want this to be relatively dry. So I'm keeping this on a sort of a medium-high heat so that it actually evaporates quite a bit. Ooh, I didn't set my timer. Okay, time is on. Okay. Then we're going to start preparing stuff on this side here. So we've got our lettuce, we've got our cream cheese, there's a bit of chopped cheddar. And there's two different ways of doing this. I quite like doing slices of avocado. Some people like making a guacamole. If you're going to make a guacamole, that you can actually spread on this just as easily. And the guac basically is a combination of avo, a bit of lemon juice, and you can actually just mince that up. You can also add tomatoes into it if you'd like. Alright, so these I'm just going to slice like that. And then we're going to put this in afterwards. Okay, there's a nice little pattern for you. There you go. Pretty. There's something that you can also do for plating and presentation. Nice on the plate, just like that. Right, then what I'm also going to do, remember I showed you these guys, I'm going to put these nachos in the oven as well. I'm just going to put them in dry, so there's no oil or anything in here. And we're just going to toast them a little bit as well. Okay, so we're ready to get our nachos going. While we're doing that, I'm going to tell you what I'm drinking. Okay, so this is a fantastic red wine that's going to go really nicely with our tacos. It's called Gentle Giant from Haute Espoir. Actually, there we go. There's our label. So if you look at that, and it's a combination of there's a Merlot, it's a Petit Verdot, and a Cabernet. So the Merlot gives us really nice softness on the wine. The Cabernet obviously gives a full body, which is really nice. And then the Petit Verdot, I suppose, adds flavor, but it's flipping delicious. So we're going to have that with our tacos tonight. Cheers, everyone. Happy Easter, by the way. Okay, so our timer's going off. Okay, not flat there. I'm going to give it another 2 minutes. So let's work on 4 minutes for our timer. Okay, in the meantime, this is starting to become a really nice, rich sauce. Okay, and what we want to do is try and get most of the the liquid out of here so that it doesn't run all over your tacos. Okay. And then I'm just going to add some black beans. So I'm going to add, I said to you, I'm going to add about half of the black beans into this. And you're just going to cook that up for another couple of minutes. I'm looking forward to this. So what you're thinking here is, I mean, this is going to be a really nice sort of smoky flavor, a little bit of chili in it. And you can also use this mince for putting into things like lasagnas. If you want this really nice, rich lasagna, you can put it into, you can make a bolognese with this as well. So the recipe is online. All of our recipes for the last couple of weeks are online. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be giving you guys probably another 10-15 recipes, seeing that we're for a 21-day lockdown. So at the end of this whole lockdown, you'll have 30 recipes off our website with videos on how to actually make it. So go onto the website, all the ingredients you should have been posted today, and let's see what comes out of that. Also, I don't know if you guys saw the competition that we're running. Anyone putting their own recipes, their lockdown recipes on? Yeah, we will post them on our website so that other people can see. So keep that coming. We've got quite a few entries so far. Right. Really enjoying this wine. It's a Good Friday wine. Any questions, anyone? All good. Right. Our tacos are ready. Okay, so I'm going to take these out. Actually just put them onto this, and you can actually mold them a little bit. So you can see they're not too stiff. If you want to make them a little bit stiffer, you can do so. Okay, but you can still actually mold them into a shape that you want at this point. If you let them sit for too longer, obviously they go quite stiff and you can't work with them. So these ones are working quite nicely. Look at that. Okay, perfect. And then I'm just going to let those cool. Once those are cooled, this guy's not playing with me at all. Moving on that side, let's just see there. Okay, so we leave those guys. This one I want a little bit more open. Perfect. Alright. Okay, so if you just focus on the mince here a little, you can see all of the moisture is virtually out of this mince. So you're getting this really beautiful, rich mince coming through. I'm just going to turn this down a little bit. Okay. Can you pass me another plate, please, Mika? Okay, so that's going to keep going there a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to load these tacos that we've already made. I'm just going to show you how to do one. And this one you can see it's gone quite, it's actually gone too stiff. So let me just nuke it a little bit. I'm going to warm it. So if you just actually put it into the microwave for a couple of seconds, it just loosens it up a little bit, makes it a bit more pliable. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take some mince. So I'm going to add some mince onto a taco. Look at that, that looks fantastic. And we're going to add a little bit of lettuce, stick that on top. Some grated cheese. You can even add some more taco mix onto this if you want to. So actually, let's just do that. Take a little bit more of this, stick it on top there. Wow, this looks fantastic. Dash of sour cream. And then to end it off, just a little bit of coriander. There we go. So there's we need some avo as well, actually. Put some avo in on the side, just like that. Okay, so there's your taco. I'm just going to turn the oven off and we're going to pull out the nachos. These ones have got a little bit brown. Could you pass me another plate, please? Small plate. Okay, so let me just make another taco quickly. In fact, I'm going to use one of the new ones. There we go. So yeah, this is folded perfectly. Look at that. That's nice, and that's exactly where you want to be. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to add some more mince into this. There you go. Some shredded lettuce. Some cheese. That's a beautiful one. These ones are made fresh. Some cream cheese. Sorry, sour cream, not cream cheese. Here we go. Some avo. 2 or 3 slices of avo on the side. And some coriander on top. There we go. Right. So there are your tacos, black bean tacos. We'll just get some nachos together. So this is what your nachos are going to look like. So all you need to do here, literally sprinkle some cheese over it. Just like that. So either way, you can do whatever you want. I'm just going to put this into the microwave for about 20 seconds. Okay, shall I take it? Here we go. Look at that, how beautiful is that? Take that away. Okay, and here's your nachos. Take a look at this. How hungry does that make you feel? So you're just going to take a couple of little dollops of sour cream. And this is where your guacamole could come in quite nicely, as opposed to using avo slices. But you're using avo slices anyway. Okay, stick a few avo slices around that. There you go. Okay, so you can actually make 2 or 3 different meals out of this whole exercise. I'm going to add a little bit of mince onto that as well. So if you want, onto your nachos. And there we have it. Dash of coriander. Perfect. There you go, guys. And then ideally, what you want to do, depending on your own inclination, is add as much chili as you want to. It really works well. Okay, cheers to you. Have a fantastic Easter, and we will see you on Monday.